Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binaries. Welcome to Babs's Bungalow. My name is Barbara, and with the season of the Reptile coming to an end in Mortal Kombat 1, I was pleasantly surprised to see several dinosaur names show up in Reptile's skin list. Now, for those who somehow don't know, dinosaurs are my first and truest hyperfixation. I love the prehistoric past. And considering that they went with several famous but more mid-shelf dinosaur names than I was expecting, I kind of wanted to quickly look over the dinosaur references in the Order of Darkness skins that Reptile has, and kind of quickly overview what they are for those who didn't really stick around with the dinosaur interest or were never interested in the terrible lizards. Well, considering that dinosaurs are birds, or that birds are dinosaurs, rather, you're gonna have to check this out all funsies like. Thankfully, there's only 6 of them, and these should be done fairly quickly, even with one of them being a pretty broad generalization. Oh, and I am going to be using Jurassic World Evolution 2 for this, just because while I would prefer to use something like Prehistoric Kingdom or the like, it's just easier for me to use JWE 2. And besides, I'll still endeavor to do my best to be accurate, but be quick. Because, I don't know how many people are going to be interested in prehistory who are also into Mortal Kombat. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. So for this video, I'm going to be using this game, Jurassic World Evolution 2, to kind of show off the dinosaurs forthright. Now, 2 of the creatures listed are not actually specific dinosaurs, or at the very least not directly referencing any specific dinosaur. But the thunder lizard does belong to a dinosaur, at least when you translate it. And a theropod, well, that's one of the easiest ones to find. For now, though, let's quickly knock out the thunder lizard as we're going top to bottom, left to right. So top left, top right, middle, you get the idea. But first and foremost, we need to talk about the thunder lizard. In this case, Apatosaurus, because we don't have the actual thunder lizard here, which would be Brontosaurus. Now, Brontosaurus, for those who may be cheeky, would be saying, well, Brontosaurus isn't a real dinosaur. Actually, since 2015, Brontosaurus has been recognized as a real dinosaur once again, vindicating the Bone Wars. But in all seriousness, Brontosaurus, much like Apatosaurus here, is a massive herbivore. 25 meters or 83 feet from nose to tail, this creature weighed upwards of 30 tons, making it easily one of the largest land animals to have ever lived. Found all over North America, ranging from Wyoming all the way down to New Mexico throughout the Morrison Formation. The Apatosaurus and Brontosaurus were 2 of the most common sauropods during the late Jurassic period, in what was known as the Morrison Serengeti. Lots of famous dinosaurs are found in this region. In fact, if you can think of a dinosaur from the Jurassic period, it was probably found there. Allosaurus, Stegosaurus, Ceratosaurus, Brachiosaurus, Apatosaurus, Brontosaurus. The names go on and on and on. And for this titanic herbivore to be a superstar amongst the savannah, just goes to show how popular that the dinosaurs were that it ended up in Mortal Kombat. Next up, we are going to be taking a look at theropod, which really just means any dinosaur of the theropod group. Translating to beastfoot, basically that means any carnivorous dinosaur that you will ever see. Every carnivorous dinosaur that has been found so far belongs to the group of dinosaurs known as the theropods. Dimetrodon is not a dinosaur, so he does not count. But for every other dinosaur, they all belong under the same branch, because they all share the theropod ancestry. All of these guys, from the tiny oviraptor to the ferocious Tyrannosaurus rex, are all actually fairly closely related to each other. And in fact, one of the closest relatives of the Tyrannosaurus rex is actually our next subject, the Velociraptor. Now, of course, this is not how Velociraptor actually looked in life. By now, a lot of people know that the real Velociraptor was more about a third of the size of the Velociraptors in Jurassic Park. 6 feet from nose to tail, 2 feet high at the hips, and weighing about 30 pounds, these little desert predators were tough and vicious, but nothing like the man-sized killers that you see in Jurassic Park. What exactly were they going for here? Well, back in the novel days, these creatures were supposed to be Deinonychus, which was a larger species of raptor. But Michael Crichton went with Velociraptor instead because Velociraptor sounded cooler. And honestly, who can blame him? However, this has also led to a long-standing misconception that the Jurassic Park raptors were what Velociraptor was like for a while. And while it's better than many of the Dromaeosaur depictions of the past, Velociraptor was nothing like the creatures that you see in the movies. Of course, that doesn't mean that there weren't large raptor dinosaurs that existed. Utah Raptor, which was described 1 year after Jurassic Park was released. No kidding, they found this thing while Jurassic Park was on its press tour. Really fits that niche even more so, because Utah Raptor is even bigger than the raptors in Jurassic Park. At 8 feet tall, 20 feet from nose to tail, and weighing 1,700 pounds. These were the raptors that you really wanted to watch out for. So while Velociraptor was nothing like what you saw in the movies, the Dromaeosaur family has its fair share of nightmares for everyone. Next up, though, we move on to another theropod. This one, another Jurassic superstar, Allosaurus. This dinosaur right here is a monumental creature. Upwards of 11 meters from nose to tail, weighing 3 tons. This dinosaur is nothing to sneeze at, especially when you consider that it was known as the Lion of the Jurassic. That is a moniker that does not get tossed around easily, and this predator has more than earned it. Being one of the top carnivores of its time, Allosaurus hunted whatever it wanted, from stegosaurs to sauropods. But we also have a ton of evidence of injuries in these dinosaurs, showing that they were reckless and extremely aggressive. Many fossils have shown that these creatures frequently got injured when attacking Stegosaurus, the spike-tailed dinosaurs, with one specimen even having been hit in the crotch, right in the pelvis, by a stegosaur tail swipe. That injury killed the Allosaur, but goes to show just what these creatures were dealing with. One specimen, known as Big Al, was found to have been a female who suffered a ridiculous amount of injuries. Broken ribs, a shattered arm. Its neck was broken. But Big Al kept going. And Allosaurus was a ridiculously tough dinosaur. So running into one out of a time machine would be nightmarish. Little wonder they decided to give this guy's name over to Reptile. Especially since Allosaurus, for the longest time, was the top dinosaur predator until Tyrannosaurus was discovered nearly 50 years later. But speaking of dinosaurs that were discovered a long time ago. Actually, wait, no, Iguanodon is a little bit later. But let's talk. There is one more carnivorous dinosaur that we can talk about before we actually move on to a plant eater for once. Where did you go? Oh, right, because it would be easier to find you under this category. Baryonyx, the heavy claw. These carnivorous dinosaurs are Spinosaurids, making them close relatives of dinosaurs like Spinosaurus and Suchomimus. But don't take these guys lightly. These are ravenous generalist predators that would eat just about anything they can get their claws on. We actually have stomach contents of Baryonyx that showed that it ate fish and other dinosaurs, meaning that it wasn't a very picky eater, much like modern-day bears. The name Baryonyx comes from the massive thumb claw on their hands, which the Jurassic World model does not do justice. Yes, you could see the bigger claw on this specimen, but it would have been considerably larger than what was seen here. And it would have been used for raking fish out of the water and as a deadly defensive weapon, because this was a dinosaur that may have had to have fought for its food. And one example of the prey items that it would have had to have fought, was also in its stomach contents. This is Iguanodon, one of the first dinosaurs ever described. having been named all the way back in 1824. These huge herbivores were upwards of 3 tons and were fundamental in introducing the concept of giant prehistoric reptiles to the public eye. In fact, in the 1850s, a giant model of iguanodon was actually eaten inside, as a 12-course meal was served as a New Year's Eve dinner party gimmick inside of the body of the uncompleted model of the giant reptile. That is still up for display at Crystal Palace in the United Kingdom. Now, when you go to see them, don't expect super accurate dinosaurs. These were Victorian-era reconstructions of dinosaurs like Megalosaurus, Iguanodon, and Hylaeosaurus. So expect them to look much more like giant lizards than, well, a dinosaur. But one last thing about Iguanodon before we move on. Those thumbs are no joke. If we brighten up the colors a little bit and adjust the lighting, not the position, just so we can get a better look at those hands. These, okay, can I not? I guess I can't. Okay, there we go. So, that huge spike on their thumbs, on the thumbs of their hands, the digit that doesn't really flop, that is a formidable weapon, capable of punching through bone. So, Iguanodon was not defenseless, both due to its size and its weaponry. In fact, in the paleo community, there's a saying, talk dumb, get the thumb. And whose thumb would you be getting? Iguanodon's, right through the skull. It's surprising that they chose Iguanodon for Reptile, but as one of the earliest dinosaurs described and one of the most popular dinosaurs out there, I'm also not totally surprised. Plus, something about Iguanodon just is the quintessential dinosaur, right? I'm not crazy in thinking that, right? I was pleasantly surprised to see that some of these skins got names for some of my favorite animals that have ever roamed the earth. Not surprised, though, that a lot of them are predators: Baryonyx, Allosaurus, Theropods, and Velociraptor. But hopefully down the line, with the likes of Thunder Lizard, Iguanodon, and maybe we'll get Triceratops? Who knows? But the more of these that sneak in here, the more likely people are going to look up and check out these magnificent creatures. Of these animals, personally, my favorites are the Brontosaurus and the Iguanodon. But I do have a soft spot for real Velociraptor, the little fluff balls. Plus, Baryonyx was a welcome surprise, although I'm not a huge fan of the color that they gave for it in particular. Granted, I get it, it's brown. Reptiles can be brown, but I don't know. Actually, I just need to improve the mask. But that's besides the point. I just wanted to make this quick little video to kind of gush out about 2 of my favorite things. Don't forget to be awesome, and with Takeda coming down the way pretty soon, expect a hell of a combo compilation soon.